Hello, I'm Belinda Alexandra and I'm so happy to be talking to you about my new book, The Mystery Woman. It's set in 1952 in the small isolated town of Shipwreck Bay on the New South Wales south coast. Rebecca Wood is fleeing a scandal in Sydney and takes a job as the postmistress of this tiny whaling town. But things are not as they seem. The first distressing thing she learns is that her predecessor committed suicide in the office where she's expected to work. To add to her distress, she soon finds that her hopes for a quiet life are disturbed by the attentions of the dashing, handsome local doctor, a misogynistic whaling captain, a corrupt Shire secretary, and a gaggle of town gossips. And yet, despite herself, she finds herself drawn to the mysterious occupant of the house on the cliff top. He's the only one that speaks up against the cruelty of whaling, but he's also been accused of being a Nazi spy. So against the background of the turbulent ocean and its majestic creatures, Rebecca Wood soon finds herself caught up in the dangerous mysteries of Shipwreck Bay. I absolutely grew up using libraries. My mother used to take me to my local library and it was like going to a magic land. I used to not only borrow on my card, but I used to borrow on her card as well. And it was just such a wonderful place to go because I think stories they're just magic. You know, as Dr. Seuss says, they're portable magic. My favourite childhood book was Snugglepot and Cuddle Pie. I grew up in a beautiful part of Sydney that has so much beautiful nature around it, and I grew up in a garden that had just so many fascinating little creatures living in it. Possums, birds, butterflies, ladybirds, they all fascinated me. A great book that I've revisited actually lately is Patricia Highsmith's The Talented Mr. Ripley. What I think is fascinating about that book is that someone can appear so normal and yet be so distorted in their thinking that they'll commit murder. And the sort of idea that somebody could get away with it is quite disturbing, but it's very, very, very well written, and it was very engaging, a mysterious tale. Oh, when I'm not writing, I seem to be writing a lot these days, but when I'm not writing, I really like to do all sorts of activities, all sorts of creative activities. I love playing the piano, I love dancing, but probably my favourite activity of all is, patting my cats.